Hi BookTube, it's Amy, and we're back reading again from the Anatomy of Bibliomania by Holbrook Jackson. We're on page 309 of my edition, beginning the next part of the book, which is titled The Origin of a Species. The species, I believe, being bibliophiles, or those afflicted by bibliophilia. And we're on a section titled Transmutation. We need not marvel that books change and translate as well as uplift their readers. We are transfigured by them and their wisdom, music, passion. They mingle with our blood and quicken it, giving us like moments of magnificence. And let the multitudinous music of Greek pass into me till I am musical. Footnote, a couple of lines pointing us to Digby Mathwork Dolben's poems. How many transmutations books have brought about in the soul of man I cannot reckon. It would need great volumes to record the influence of holy books alone, and I shall not attempt it, as their power in this has so many historians. Secular or profane letters have as many victories, but they do not get the same advertisement. This chapter has several instances, but in order to reveal still more the variety of their operations, I may relate how the tales of Gautier converted George Moore to paganism. I am what they made me, he confesses. Shelley had given him belief in humanity, pity for the poor, hatred of injustice, love, faith. Gautier destroyed these illusions, teaching him that our boasted progress is but a pitfall into which the race is falling, and that the correction of form is the highest ideal. He accepted the simple conscience of the pagan world, and would have held down his thumb in the Colosseum that 100 gladiators might die and wash him free of his Christian soul with their blood. When he read Thomson, William Goodwin believed that he became Thomson. When he read Milton, he became Milton. Sarah Fielding read Clarissa and became, like the Harlow servant, speechless. With Egypt's queen, once more we sail the Nile and learn how words are bartered for a smile. A line of poetry there from Bulwer Lytton's The Souls of Books. The lover of reading, says Leigh Hunt, will derive agreeable terror from Sir Bertram and the Haunted Chamber, will assent with delighted reason to every sentence in Mrs. Baldrod's essay, will feel himself wandering into solitudes with Gray, shake hands with honest Sir Roger de Coverley, be ready to embrace Parson Adams and to chuck Pounce out of the window instead of the hat, will travel with Marco Polo and Mungo Park, stay at home with Thompson, retire with Cowley, be industrious with Hutton, sympathizing with Gay and Mrs. Inchbold, laughing with and at Buncle, melancholy and forlorn and self-restored with the shipwrecked mariner of Defoe. I lift Homer, brags Alexander Smith in his Dreamthorpe, and I shout with Achilles in the trenches. Spenser's Fairy Queen makes us feel that without stepping a yard from our native English ground or deserting any of our common occupations, we may be, we must be, engaged in a great fight with invisible enemies, and that we have invisible champions on our side. So also Dr. Arnott, who upheld his books as the miracle of all his possessions, more wonderful than the wishing cap of the Arabian tales, for they transported him on an instant, not only to all places, but to all times. When William Hazlitt reread Peregrine Pickle or Tom Jones, 20 years were struck off the list. He became a child again. Oh, what a privilege to let this hump, like Christian's burthen, drop from off one's back, and transport oneself by the help of a little musty duodecimo to the time when ignorance was bliss. For as Sir Thomas Overbury sings, books are a part of man's prerogative, and formal ink they thoughts and voices hold, that we to them our solitude may give, and make time present travel that of old. Our life, fame pieces together longer at the end, and books if farther backwards do extend. Their grace to this end is well known and sufficient, and they concern and help every man in like case, provided that he own an innate or hitherto unapprehended graciousness which may answer to theirs, and the good fortune to apply the right book at the right moment. For though Peregrine Pickle or Tom Jones make so gentle a metamorphosis in the cosmogony of a Hazlitt, they might have a reverse effect in one differently constituted, as I have discoursed in its place. But this much I will supererogate, namely, that the good bookman will seek out that food which is best suited to his capacity, and he will be guided by an inborn sense or instinct of self-preservation. For if, as Ben Jonson well taxeth, there be some men are born only to suck out the poison of books, so there are others who suck out only good, and who have ever found in books those essences most fitting for their needs. Time and circumstances will invite the book. It matters little whether they turn to the complete angler, which Charles Lamb states it would sweeten a man's temper at any time to read, or the irascible Carlyle, to whom the cobbler of Condelkin in Ireland always turned when he was wild with his neighbours. But whether it made him wilder or less wild is not told. In the meantime, I may say that the wildest authors have often restored insurrectionary spirit to a gentle calm by giving them revolt by proxy. As Uncle Toby and Corporal Trim appeased their own martial perturbations by means of military books, and the fortifications and dispositions of imaginary troops which those essays suggested. But apart from all this power to calm and soothe, books glorify and enhance by their presence. Gentlemen, Dibdin claims, look more like gentlemen when fine books are spread out in rich magnificence before them. No end to the power of the written word. Han Yu, the Chinese poet and statesman, is said to have driven away a great crocodile which was ravaging the watercourses of the kingdom of Kwantung by composing a denunciatory ultimatum, still revered as a model of Chinese composition, which he threw into the river together with a pig and a goat. Dibdin speaks of a large party kept in perfect good humour when dinner was full 27 minutes late by turning over an extra illustrated copy of Ormerod's Cheshire, but no ordinary work could serve in such a crisis. You may try a chronicle printed in Verard or Gratian's Decretals by Eggstein, but they won't do. The ladies throw a freezing glance, the elderly gentlemen yawn, only embellished volumes will serve. Missals radiant with burnished gold, or topography illustrated like Ormerod. Well did Queen Elizabeth ordain that all churches, or rather that in all churches, there should be a desk with a copy of the paraphrase of Erasmus placed in a convenient position for the people to read while waiting for the service. And our footnote there pointing us to Yanin's Le Livre. But that brings us to the end of that section there on page 311. Our next reading will be on the same page here, 311, titled How Books Have Made and Changed Character. But we will end today's video there.